This is how we pull up when Samsung's dropping new phones, because Samsung just announced their new Galaxy S25 series at their Galaxy Unpacked event. It's a lot of Galaxy in here, but we're only going to cover what's new here, so you can decide whether it's worth upgrading or not. I'm also going to cover some stuff that stayed the same, just so you can see what changed between this year and last year, so let's get into it. First things first, let's get it out the way and let's talk about pricing. Pricing is identical to last year, with the S24 Ultra starting at $1299 or about 31,000 Rand here in South Africa. The S24 Plus itself is going for $999 or about 24,500 Rand. And the S24 itself is starting at $799 or about 21,000 Rand. Again, nothing's new here, so let's start looking at the design and see what's new with the S25 Ultra. For the S25 Ultra, there are not many major design changes, but there are a couple worth noticing. For one, they've now squared out the edges and now rounded the corners on the S25 Ultra, which should theoretically make it more comfortable to hold. The S24 Ultra itself had square edges and rounded sides. People found that the corners would now dig into their hands and made it a bit uncomfortable to hold. In terms of screen, they've now made the bezels 15% smaller, adding extra real estate, taking the screen size from 6.8 inches to the perfectly nice 6.9 inches. In terms of performance, there's a new Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy coming to the Galaxy S25 series, which numbers are looking pretty impressive in my opinion. Samsung is claiming that you're going to get 37% more CPU performance, which should help with your more multitasking and day-to-day activities of the phone. They're also saying that you're going to get 30% more GPU performance and 40% more ray tracing. This is to cater to more of the gaming or graphic intensive users of the S25. And then they're also claiming finally that you're going to get 40% more NPU performance, which should help improve any of the AI tasks and make them run more efficiently and faster. I will say that I did see the clock speeds that Samsung was running the S25 Ultra and S25 series in general at, and it makes me a bit concerned about the heat that's going to be generated on the S25 series. However, Samsung says that they did add a 40% larger vapor chamber and extra materials inside to help with cooling, so this should curb any concerns that I have about any extra heat that's going to be generated on the S25 series. Samsung also claims that the chips are more efficient, so despite the battery capacity staying the same for all the devices in the S25 lineup, Samsung says that the S25 Ultra should get an extra hour of video playback time, going up from 30 hours to 31 hours. The glass on the S25 Ultra has also been upgraded to the Corning Gorilla Glass Armor 2.0. It's a bit of a mouthful. But the S25 series are also all thinner and lighter, with the S25 Ultra going from 8.6mm to 8.2mm and going from 232 grams to 218 grams, so losing about 0.4mm and 14 grams in terms of weight. It's a similar story coming for the S25 Plus and the S25 base model. They both get about 0.4mm thinner, and the S25 Plus gets about 6 grams lighter, going from 196 grams to 190, and the S25 base model also gets a bit lighter, going from 167 grams to 162. The S25 base model does get a nice upgrade in terms of its RAM, going up from 8 gigs to 12 gigs on the RAM. And that's about it. The last thing about design is that you'll see that the S25 series now gets a nice blacked out rings on the actual cameras themselves, but the cameras haven't changed for the S25 and the S25 Plus. They still got a 50 megapixel main camera, a 10 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide with the 12 megapixel selfie camera. So nothing new here. Now moving away from the camera system and more into the software, we're just going to tie it up by saying that the Galaxy S25 Ultra now gets an upgraded ultra-wide camera going from 12 megapixels to 50 megapixels. This just helps with your ultra-wide shots and also some of your macro shots where you need to get really close to objects. It just really helps improve the quality for those kinds of things. In terms of video recording, you also can now finally record in log video, which is more helpful for people who do post-production color grading onto their videos. You now have more control over that. And all video is now recorded in 10-bit HDR by default. Some nice AI features that they've included with the camera are a couple called Best Face and Audio Eraser. Best Face essentially allows, when you're taking a motion picture, to take the best face out of that motion picture and apply it to the final photo. Audio Eraser will take a video that you have and try to detect the type of sounds that are in there, like wind and nature sounds, as well as voices, and then you can individually adjust those volumes to see fit. I'm a bit iffy about this feature. It didn't look that great in terms of the demo, but we'll have to see when the actual device comes out. Samsung S25 phones will also ship with One UI 7 and will be supported for 7 years of major Android updates. Something I'm personally excited for is what Samsung's calling the Now Briefs feature. where it'll essentially use AI to try and organize your tasks and reminders into a bottom part of the screen that they're calling the Now bar. I personally have a lot of reminders and event notifications that I want to keep into one place, so it'll be nice to have them all organized on my lock screen. Something they're also adding is the Gemini 2.0 feature, where you can hold your lock screen button and it will now call Google Gemini, but Google Gemini now can do cross-app actions. As Mr. Who's the Boss demonstrated, what he did was ask Gemini to go find an event and then add that event to his calendar. So it'll then go to Google, search for the event, and then take that event and add it to the calendar. However, in his test, he saw that when he asked them to add an event, it actually added an event in the past. So I think there's still some more calibration and testing that needs to be done with this feature, but it looks interesting nonetheless. Just wrapping a couple things up here before we go to some hidden extras, but Circle to Search is now getting a Shazam-like feature where you can search music from inside of an app. So this will help for apps like TikTok or X, where you can't close the app to go and open up Shazam. And another thing that they're adding is you can now turn videos into GIFs, which I know the WhatsApp sticker merchants are gonna go crazy on, so I'm looking forward for this one. I need me some new stickers for WhatsApp. But it's a bit concerning about the AI features because Samsung said that they're gonna stop being free at the end of 2025, but there's no indication of which ones are gonna be free and which ones are gonna be paid for. But at least that Galaxy S25 users get 6 months free of Gemini Advanced, and they also get 2 TB of cloud storage for those 6 months. Some hidden extras that they announced is that they're announcing an Android XR, which looks like an Android VR headset, but they didn't give any specs or any speculation of a release date on that. And finally, they also announced the Galaxy S25 Edge, but didn't give any pricing, any specs, none of that. But there's going to be a new Galaxy S25 in the lineup, which is going to be interesting. That's all I have for you guys. If you want to hear more about some of the extra stuff that they covered, like home tech and health tech that they're going to be including, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I didn't really cover them because they're really niche topics and I didn't think most people wanted to hear about them. But if you want to see last year's Galaxy Unpacked, where they announced more of the AI features, you can click on this video here. But until then, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.